Hope is vital. If you don't have hope, if you don't have a will to live, I've seen these things kill people in a matter of months. And so far, I've survived 3 craniotomies and 15 months, 16 months. My name is Nicholas Shane Woods. I'm from Lethbridge, Alberta, and I was diagnosed with a glioblastoma multiforme with 3 mutations, 3 notable mutations: MGMT unmethylated and IDH1 wild type, and something called unmutated. I did not realize something was wrong. My brother did. I had, back in August 2023, I had a series of clonic-tonic seizures in the middle of the night, which prompted a hospital stay, and they scanned my head and found a mass, roughly 7 centimeters by 7 centimeters by 5.2 centimeters, I believe. Very big tumor. And I got it surgically removed in Vancouver 4 weeks later in October. And 8 weeks after that, they told me it was terminal cancer. These tumors they're finding are not genetic. They know very little about glioblastomas. I lived in Prince Rupert at the time, which is very far northern BC, and they couldn't do an operation like that there. But they don't even have an MRI machine. So I had to fly to Terrace to get an MRI, and then I had to go to Vancouver General Hospital to get it surgically removed. The surgery went well. There is a miscommunication with my surgeon and our family, my family members. They weren't notified that I was out of surgery for about 4 to 6 hours, so they thought I died. It's in a very safe location, although in my brain, it's not very safe there. It's in the right frontal lobe, which is pretty much the best location for it. Surgery is an option always, and if it stays there. And the right frontal lobe is a very quiet part of the brain, so it's very regenerative as well as quiet. It's away from all the important stuff, such as my motor strip and corpus callosum and all the really important parts of my brain. So I'd had 3 craniotomies so far, and all 3 have been 100% removal. I was under the impression that it was just a benign tumor, or a hematoma or something else. I wasn't privy to the cancer part till about 8 weeks later, and it was a bit of a shock. It's terminal and that I need to start treatment immediately, which entails the SNOOP protocol, which is concurrent radiation with temozolomide. So I went through 72 days of chemo and 31 doses of radiation over a 6-week period. And then I had 6 cycles of large doses of chemotherapy. Same thing, temozolomide. But with my cancer, they knew that radiation and chemo don't work, but they had me go through it anyways. It's one of those protocols. After my initial diagnosis in BC, I moved back to marry my wife, Sarah, and we've been together ever since. And then I went to do radiation and chemo in Calgary, and we got married just a week after my treatments ended. Small doses of chemo every day, and then couple that with radiation. You take the chemo about an hour before radiation. And then that was for 6 weeks while I stayed in Calgary. I went through it rather well. Extreme nausea, headaches, brain fog, typical chemo response. But I did not purge. I did not puke a single time through it all. 7 months has gone by. after the first treatment or first surgery. So 7 months roughly, and then it started to reoccur in the same location. It's a bit smaller this time. It was about half the size the second time. And yeah, we went back to Vancouver, got the same neurosurgeon to resect it completely again. However, he missed a tiny little spot, which I wasn't privy to until months later when it reoccurred for a third time. They messed up with the contrast scan. I'm not sure how, but they didn't give me a contrast CT scan or a contrast MRI, something along those lines. They made mistakes with the scans, which is why they missed it. I was enrolled into something called Personalized Oncogenomics out of BC Cancer Agency. And they turned some things up, but they couldn't get me compassionate access to the drugs that they found because of a inter-provincial jurisdiction boundary issue. And basically, I need to be a resident of BC in order to qualify for their treatment plans. And they didn't tell me this until I waited 4 months for them to do the research. So I felt like a guinea pig. I'm roughly 4 weeks out of surgery, a little bit less. And this one, the other two, I walked away unscathed. This one was a little different. The other two craniotomies, the first two, I was discharged within 2 days of being in the hospital each time. A little bit less the second time, so I got up and walked around almost immediately with no issues. And this third one left me with weakness on the left-hand side of my body. I lost the ability to write. I'm left-hand dominant. I lost the ability to do complex math. My gross motor function and fine motor function and mind-muscle connection took a severe hit. So pretty much 4 weeks ago, I couldn't walk. Second surgery was in BC, and finding treatments for my type of cancer has been a 1.5-year battle, which is extremely stressful. I spent hours a day, trying to get the treatments available to me. It wasn't easy, and it took a lot of work. All 3 surgeries have been in the exact same spot. They basically removed the majority of my right frontal lobe as much as possible to reduce the chance of reoccurrence. And it was pretty far down there. The third surgery, so the first surgery took 1.5 hours. The second surgery took roughly 3 hours. And this third surgery took 6 hours. And so, funny story. They were going to cancel the surgery 12 hours before I was supposed to go to Calgary. And because of my athlete's heart, I have a really low resting heart rate, which was a concern to them. It puts me at a higher risk of arrhythmias. So they were going to stall out the surgery in hopes that I fit the parameters of the clinical trials that I entered into. I'm in 3 right now. And my QT interval was too long, and my resting heart rate was 45, roughly, maybe a little bit lower. And they were going to postpone everything. And I had to push really hard and demand another ECG. And I went home and broke my fast and ate a bunch of food and got my resting heart rate up to 72, I think. And I was told later after surgery, if I would have waited, I would have been dead. So they were going to postpone it a week. And due to the location of the tumor, it was touching my corpus callosum and right lateral ventricle, which is pretty much, if you know anything about the brain, right in there, right in the center. And most neurosurgeons, it was probably about a week away from crossing no other hemisphere. Most neurosurgeons would have turned the surgery down. So I'm very lucky that mine pushed to get it done. And it was a complete resection at the end. So the surgery went good. He was concerned that I had a stroke, TIA, during the surgery, and that I was never going to be able to walk. But I proved him wrong. I can still ride a bike. I can still swim. I've been walking on the treadmill and lifting weights already because I'm pretty. I don't know. I push myself really hard, and my recovery is going phenomenally. I have no issues. It took me a year and a half to get everything set up, but I have a trial available in Calgary. I have a trial available in Edmonton. The Edmonton trial, my chemotherapist, oncologist, managed to get me compassionate access to, which holds a drug called cabozantinib. It's for kidney and renal cancer, not brain cancer. But due to my mutations and what the BC program turned up, they made this trial available to me. And the one that I'm going to be taking right away, it's a trial that started in 2022, and it's for glioblastomas, and it's based out of Calgary. And John Kelly, he was the one in charge of that. So they take my tumor and divide it into 5 3D models and grow it out. They're called organoids. And they test a specific drug on each one of the tissue samples. So there's 5 drugs total in that trial. And whichever one works best with my tumor, they're going to administer over the course of the next indefinitely until it stops working. I exercise. It's about 2 or 3 hours a day, 7 days a week, slow resistance training, and lots of cardio. I do yoga twice a day, restorative yoga, and some Wim Hof occasionally, breathing practices, lots of box breathing. That's for my fitness. And for my diet, I've been flip-flopping back and forth between the carnivore diet and the ketogenic diet. But I've been told largely that diet doesn't make a difference. My neurosurgeons say nothing slows us down. That I've been told to do whatever makes me feel good and keep me happy and healthy. So I'm doing just that. I started on the carnivore diet several months ago. I've been eating steak and eggs every day. I've got a decent community at the gym, lots of friends there. My family life is pretty good, and I have a wife and 3 kids. And she works in healthcare, so she's somewhat my caregiver. Sarah and I and the kids have a good relationship, and we have a cat. And I have received a lot of support online from social media. I've got quite the following. I've been practicing Stoic philosophy for the better part of 5 years. So I handle my mental health really well. For the most part, I am not on any bad terms with my mental health. I don't have any issues with it. No issues with depression, anxiety. Keep it locked down. Hope is vital. If you don't have hope, if you don't have a will to live, I've seen these things kill people in a matter of months. And so far, I've survived 3 craniotomies and 15 months, 16 months. So I've long exceeded my prognosis. They gave me 3 to 4 months to live without treatments and 15 to 12 months with treatments. The moment you give up, and your health starts declining. You know, a willpower to live is everything with a terminal diagnosis. I believe that without willpower to live and the fight, people die almost immediately. I've seen these things kill people in a matter of months. The tumor type that I have is extremely aggressive, and it can go from the size of a pinhead to the size of a small mandarin orange within 90 days. So, always hope, always fight. Ice bath. I ice bath every day. Do your own research. Don't trust what the doctors tell you, because they're going to postpone my surgery, and I demanded another test. And I literally, on that phone call with my clinical trial leader, I was listing all the possible reasons why my heart rate was so low, and she denied everything. I was like, here are the reasons, and I want another test, and she had no idea. So don't trust what the doctors tell you. Be your own advocate. It's extremely important. I would not be here today. I would have been dead if I didn't push for that surgery to happen. My neurosurgeon straight up told me if I waited a week, I would have been dead due to the location.